Hey everybody, how you doing today? Superfiend here. Welcome to Wacky World. Normally I do Let's Plays, but today I'm doing a little tip or tutorial video, and this is unscripted off the cuff. So we'll just see how it goes, and it'll probably be a little bit longer than it needs to be. But let me show you the problem. I was working on this ride queue right here for my little boat ride that swings back and forth. Here's the exit over there. And I was putting down all this scenery. And I was having an issue where I was starting to get to a point to where I needed to make adjustments to these blocks. And I don't know if you can hear it in my microphone, but right now I am clicking and nothing is being selected. And why is that? It's because this elevated path is eating the mouse clicks near the scenery. So like if I click over here and I hit R to edit building, see, like I can click on this beam and that beam, but I can't click on these beams. I can't click on any of this stuff. And so like if I want to, duplicate pieces, it's like, what if I just want to duplicate these two right here? Well, I end up with this over here. So what could I do? Like I could, oh great, I could hit X and it gives me this funky axes. If I do this, let's see. Okay, now I've got like a horizontal and axes that kind of lines up more with the monitor. So I could like do this. Come on, I'm clicking that one too. And, I could kind of put these back, okay? But I'm probably not going to get them exactly where they were, which is kind of frustrating in and of itself. But then, I could probably, like, get these right there and then hit Control X and, like, duplicate them. But as you work on this scenery, as I was working on this scenery, that whole process just started to get really tedious and really frustrating. And so I wanted to show, anybody who's ever struggled with this, who never really figured out what to do to counter it, different ways you can do it. Now, as I already showed you, you could drag and select, and you could move pieces over, right? And so, like, let's say you did this. Now it's real easy, right? I'm not fighting with the path that's elevated anymore. I could add as many pieces as I want to this. Let's say I added something like barrels, right? And let's say like I was giving them like a little bit of a rotation. Now, in this case, because it's a queue, I probably wouldn't be putting barrels like right in the middle of the queue. But, it could be like little signposts or other things that are slightly higher, like the lanterns and stuff like that. In fact, let's see what happens if we add some lights in here. I don't know. Let's say you had a taller pole and you had like the oriental lantern in here as a light. No, that was the wrong key. We want to hit X. So let's say we did that. Let's say like we had these like this, and then let's say we flipped it all the way around, and there was like another one on the other side, right? And so you make all these adjustments over here, and then when you're all done, you're like, okay, this will be real easy. I'll just do what? Because you've added all this extra scenery, and it's got like odd rotations and things inside of it, you get these screwed up axes, and it's going to be very challenging to get it back like exactly where you had it. And the more you like work on it and move things back and forth, the more screwed up it's going to get. And eventually, if it's an elaborate scenery piece, the whole thing is going to become like really broken after a while. So let's go ahead. Let's get all that out of the way, right? And let's look at another thing we could do. Another thing we could do instead. Okay, so right here, boop. We're going to hit we're going to click on the scenery piece. We're going to hit X. And it's going to put the advanced move axes way over there. And we're just going to lift it up into the air. In this case, the other thing you could do, and it's not a bad choice for this because it's a relatively simple path, is you could pop in here, say select grid, boop, and we'll just delete like a good chunk of the path. Right now we could go over here, we could hit X, we could lower this back down. We got to get it like right where it was about right there. And then now we can come in here and we can click on this stuff, we can edit. It's really not a problem. Now, I don't usually recommend doing it that way, and I'm going to show you why. Sometimes with Planet Coaster, to do it that way, you're assuming that you can make the path exactly as it is right now. Now, in the case of this one, which is kind of just like a little loop with the grid, that's not too hard to do. But like if I come over here, let's say it was a more elaborate path, like, I don't know, something like this. If I delete this section of path right here, like if I delete that and then I try to like redraw it and get it exactly the way it was, I'm never going to be able to. I'm never going to get the same exact path I had. And in the case of scenery, which is being built to line up with the path, that's going to be like catastrophic, and you're never going to be able to succeed that way. So there's a third way to do it, and this is the way I usually do it when I get to this point. And it's the way that like I recommend. Okay, so we're going to go back over here. We're going to select the building. We're going to hit R for edit. And we're going to drop a big, fat, ugly grid piece just right down here on the path. You know, like this. Oh, yeah, this is a hideous one. This castle arch, okay? And then so what we want to do here is we just want to click and drag and get like most of this stuff. And we'll just hit M for move. And now everything moves very nicely along this path here. Now, we've gotten a little bit more than we wanted. We didn't want these crates or the castle pieces underneath. So we'll just go ahead and click and drag like that. Okay. And then we're going to hit M again. But we're going to leave the arch over there. This is not coming with us. And we're just going to put this stuff back. Now, oftentimes when you do this, and you can see it happen this time, everything changed elevation. So I'm going to hold Shift and just move the mouse up and down until it's back where it was. Okay, good. Now we've put all of that scenery back where it was. And now we've got this over here, and we can pretty much work with it freely. And the other thing that's cool about this is now I can position this a little bit better. Now when we come in here, okay, we can duplicate. We can move stuff around. We can do whatever we want, right? Let's go ahead and let's add the barrels like we did last time. Now, you remember when we added the barrels last time, it kind of screwed up the axes when we tried to put everything back, right? The advanced move axes kind of got distorted. So let's just say we had some like odd pieces like that in there, and not the barrel bin, but maybe like a small barrel. Okay, did these not get put into this scenery? They better be part of this building. They are. Okay, good. So now what we can do, okay, if we hit R for edit, we highlight this whole thing. If I deselect this and I try to advance move, we get pretty decent axes. So we could probably get that back to where it was. However, if we weren't getting a decent axes where we could put it back exactly where we want, we've got this grid piece, which kind of acts as like a navigator or a key, which is going to keep everything oriented the way it originally was on the grid. So when we highlight everything and we hit M to move, we could pop over here. We can get it exactly where it was. We're going to use Shift to kind of like to get the elevation correct again. And then we can drop it down there. And we can look and admire our work. And we say, yes, okay, it's still looking good. We're not done with it. We want to do more work. So we're going to hit Control Z. That's for undo. It'll put it back over here. And we can continue working on it over here. So we can add more scenery to it. What is this guy's face doing? Hello there. I thought it was a little alien head. Anyways, we can continue working on it. And through iterations, you know, we continuously bring it back over here. It's very tedious when you have to do this kind of stuff. But it's the easiest way, I think, to get through this. And you can put it back. You can even hit escape so you can look at it. You can even exit out of the building editor. And you could admire your work. And you can get in here and you could make notes like, okay, this board needs to move like a little bit that way, and this board needs to move. Or, you know, you just make little mental notes, hold Control Z, pop it back over here, make those adjustments, and then you manually move it back over. It makes it take a little bit longer. But in cases where trying to use the advanced move isn't going to do it for you, because as you add pieces, what the heck? What the heck kind of... See, look at this axis. Like, now it's all totally screwy. Now it's good. But if you select everything, like if you get just like a couple pieces not selected, this time it didn't do it. Anyways, if the advanced move axes are getting all goofed up on you, and if your path is the kind where you're not going to be able to delete it and recreate it exactly, abuse the grid. Put a grid piece down and use it to move the scenery back and forth and make your life a lot easier. And then so what we can do here, if I go ahead and we can just delete all that. Because I have a copy of it over here, and we're just going to move. And then, so this is what I ended up building using this method. And it's not quite done. Let's just see here. Boop. And there we go. And it's kind of like a little covered pathway. It could be prettier, but I don't know. And I'm a little bit on the fence about these little archways. But that's beyond the scope of this video. Hope you learned something new. Let me know if you did with a comment or a thumbs up. And you have a good afternoon. Thanks for watching, and take care.